Hi, this is Dr. Frank Chopatini with the Church of Rational Truth. Today we're going to be talking about being skeptical and being appropriately skeptical. A lot of things, or religions especially, are based on faith, which is basically just believing something with no evidence, not doubting it, just blindly following something. That is not good because that can lead us to bias. That can lead us to believe things that are not true. That can lead us to be deceived. That can believe us to believe in things that are just truly false. One of the big things to try and find out if something is true, and one of the biggest things with our church is finding truth. And one of the keys to finding truth is being skeptical. If you're not skeptical, you'll end up following a lot of things that actually you find out later that are not actually truth. Skepticism is basically going and testing and trying to say, hey, do I really have good evidence for this? Or doubting something until you actually can prove one way or another. I would say most things really cannot be proven 100% true. It's very hard to prove anything 100% true. If anything, you're trying to find things that you cannot disprove. Any good belief or anything that you're following, you should actively try to disprove it. If you have a belief in something, especially if that's a strong belief, you need to base that based on a healthy skepticism and not being able to disprove it. Because if it is true, if it is really true, you should not be able to disprove it. Sometimes it's not as much as something being true or false, but let's just say something is inaccurate or just slightly off from the truth. Well, we'll find that, or we'll get closer and closer to the truth from a healthy skepticism. We have to challenge that thing. We have to see what is wrong. We should try to poke holes in it. And then if we can poke holes in it, it doesn't necessarily mean we're 100% wrong in something, but it means we can move that idea further and further, closer and closer into as true as we can get it with our current technology and understanding on things. If we don't, we could get something that's, let's say, close to the truth, but if we're not skeptical and we don't challenge our own beliefs, we'll never get it further and further and closer to the truth. This should be absolutely true with religious beliefs because we are capable of making mistakes. We are capable of being wrong. We are capable of being lied to, and we will never find those things out unless we have a healthy skepticism. That's not to say that you should, distrust absolutely everything, but I would say everything you do believe, you should challenge. You should try to challenge it, especially if other people have different beliefs or different ideas from you. That means you should challenge their beliefs, but that also means you should challenge your own, because if you can't even challenge your own beliefs, then you don't know if your beliefs are even true. Um, so that's basically where I would go with that. I would say be skeptical about just about everything, but that doesn't mean that you can't. At some point, you do have to move on your ideas and actually do things based on them. You can't be completely skeptical forever. You'll just get bogged down in skepticism and never actually be able to function. But I do think it is good to have a healthy skepticism to keep us from mistruths, lies, or to keep sharpening what we believe is true. Um, Old business, I'm switching things up and doing old business at the end instead of old business at the beginning. The two things we'll be voting on in terms of where passive income will be towards a physical church slash library or back into the general endowment. So we'll have voting on that this week, and then next week we will come back and then see where that money ends up going towards. That is it for this week. This is Dr. Frank for the Church of Rational Truth signing off. Bye bye.